It's the morning weather briefing. This is for Saturday, the 28th of December. This is James Spann, and needless to say, we have a lot of questions about the potential for a high-impact, severe thunderstorm event across the Deep South over the next 24 hours. And what we're going to do here is go through what we think will happen, the various scenarios, how you can be ready. So just kind of sit back and watch, and we'll do our best to answer all your questions here. So as we usually do on these videos, we'll kind of start with the geeky thing. This is the upper air look. This is the flow pattern about 18,000 feet off the ground, and a negative tilt trough is going to be sharpening up west of the state, and that will be delivering the dynamics needed for severe storms. Now, we're live this morning at 5:27. Who would be awake at 5:27 on a Saturday morning? Well, if you're watching this live, you are. And so am I. And there's the radar. You can see rain falling across southeast Alabama, down across parts of the Gulf Coast region. We had a couple of isolated tornado warnings and some damage in Mobile County yesterday from isolated severe storms, but we stress there's no issues this morning. The morning will be just fine, no problems. The air is relatively stable over the northern half of the state. We've got 52 early this morning for Center and Gadsden, but there is a warm front to the south that's gradually pushing northward. Notice how temperatures are in the low 60s over in Starkville and Columbus, 64 at Meridian. Mobile, 63. The dew points are in the 60s there, and that's the air mass that will be advancing northward. And you need that type of air mass for severe storms. We should mention early this morning that there is a dense fog advisory for a pretty good chunk of the Deep South as that warm front pushes northward. So let's go right to the convective outlook. And this is the updated SPC Day 1 outlook for today, tonight, and early tomorrow. Keep in mind, these outlooks are valid through 6 a.m. tomorrow. And you can see that SPC has upgraded the risk to a level 4 out of 5 through parts of central Mississippi, parts of Louisiana, and extreme West Alabama. And the one thing I want to say up front, just don't get too hung up in these risk categories and the colors and definitions. Just understand the whole state has a risk of severe storms, but clearly the higher probabilities are on the western side of the state. But that level 4 includes parts of Sumter, Choctaw, and Washington counties in west and southwest Alabama. We have a level 3 out of 5 risk over to Birmingham, near Greenville and Atmore, the orange on that map, and most of the rest of the states at a level 2 out of 5 threat. I want to show the probabilistic outlooks from SPC. This is the probabilistic tornado outlook. And first off, notice that hatched area. That would include the level 4, level 3 risks. And what that means, there could be a few strong tornadoes in there. And by definition, that's EF2 or higher. And in a case like this, SPC has mentioned there might be, within that moderate risk, a few long-track EF3 plus tornadoes. So just be aware of that. And again, in terms of the probabilities here, this is the probability of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point. And in the moderate risk, the level 4 out of 5, the chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a given point is 15 to 29%. And remember, tornadoes are pretty small. That's a very significant number. In the yellow there, in the level 3 out of 5 risk, the chance of a tornado within 25 miles of a point is 10 to 14%. And then for most of the rest of Alabama, the probability is 5 to 9%. And quite frankly, for Alabama, this might be the biggest concern, damaging straight-line winds with an MCS, a mesoscale convective system, a squall line coming through late tonight. And again, where you see the hatched areas on this map, that suggests there could be some winds gusting to hurricane force, 74 miles an hour or greater. And that does extend into west and southwest Alabama. But again, where you see the red, that means the chance of damaging wind, and by definition, the severe criteria is 58 miles an hour. The chance of damaging wind in that red within 25 miles of a given point is 30 to 44%. That's pretty high. And again, we'll go through the timing and all the model maps here in just a second. And then after 6 a.m. tomorrow, there's still a risk that kind of lingers on the eastern side of the state. I really think the storm should be out of here by 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. But again, that's after 6 a.m. tomorrow. And then on day 3, which is Monday, we're done with storms for a while. The attention then turns to a much colder pattern setting up for January. In terms of rain, a lot of folks had some good rains yesterday. Additional rains over the next 24 hours will be in the 1 to 2 inch range for much of the state. Some spots may be getting a little over 2 inches. So let's kind of walk you through this whole thing. So this is this evening at 6 o'clock, and this is coming off one of our good convection-allowing high-resolution models, the HRRR, High-Resolution Rapid Refresh, and this is valid this evening at 6. And the models have trended toward a drier solution this afternoon and this evening, which is not necessarily good because that allows for more destabilization. But again, any storms that try and form this evening could try and rotate, but it sure looks like the main show will be late tonight after 11 o'clock. And you can see that long line of storms at 6 o'clock this evening right up and down the Mississippi River from Memphis on down to the south. So, this afternoon we'll be watching everything that pops up on radar with an eagle eye. But the models have trended toward a solution to where the main show will be late tonight. In fact, let's go ahead and jump to 11 o'clock tonight. And that line of severe storms moving into extreme West Alabama. 11 o'clock to midnight tonight. Now, in advance of the line, notice those isolated cells, and if they can get going, and if they can have a sustained updraft, they could be severe, and there could be a tornado or two with those. So understand, in advance of the line, we got to watch those, but the line itself could produce widespread tree and power line damage, I'm afraid, late tonight. Let's look at the severe weather parameters. This is the surface-based CAPE, C-A-P-E, convective available potential energy, instability or buoyancy. And the numbers are not that high. In fact, if you're in northeast Alabama, that looks pretty good. You've got no instability. If you're in Scottsboro or Fort Payne or Center, places like that. But again, in the cold season, it doesn't take a lot of CAPE for severe storms to get going here. And the one thing for sure, the dynamics are just tremendous. This is the SRH, the storm relative helicity, and that's not in question. This is a very dynamic system with strong wind fields. This is the veering of the wind with altitude in relation to how the storms are moving. This is a composite index called the STP, the Significant Tornado Parameter. Again, this is valid tonight at 11 o'clock, and you can see those enhanced values through the western side of the state. And so again, with that line, we could have a lot of wind damage, straight line winds, and within the line, or any storms that form ahead of the line, the chance of a few isolated tornadoes. So this is the STP, the Significant Tornado Parameter. This is valid at 2 a.m. And you can see by that time the better chance of maybe a few isolated tornadoes shifting down into the southern part of the state. We think the severe weather threat really begins to wind down for the northern counties after 2 or 3 o'clock. And then this is what the radar should look like around 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. The line of storms really exiting the state, moving out of southeast Alabama. So if you're in Dothan, Eufaula, the storm's probably not reaching you until 3, 4, 5 a.m., and they should be out of the state by 7 or 8 o'clock. And at that point, they should be weakening as the main dynamic support begins to lift away. Now, this product, again, I don't like to show this on the open social platforms. Listen, if you're watching this video to this point, you're a weather dweeb, and I like that. You understand the limitations of this and what this means. But this is a product called Updraft Helicity. And this is, again, coming off the HRRR, and this is showing, and again, I want to stress this is not showing where tornadoes will touch down. It's showing where there could be maximized areas of rotating updrafts and tornado potential. And you can see really that most of these UH tracks are over Mississippi and Louisiana. And I think that's the right idea. There could certainly be some violent, long-track tornadoes over parts of Louisiana and Mississippi, perhaps this afternoon and this evening. And then as it gets into Alabama, the thing kind of begins this transition to more of a damaging straight line event, which is still bad. Listen, if a tree's going to come on your house, does it matter if it's a tornado or straight line winds? It really doesn't. So I will say this. I would encourage you to pay attention to severe thunderstorm warnings tonight. And just treat them with respect, and you might even consider doing what you would normally do for a tornado if you're in a severe thunderstorm polygon tonight because of the wind potential, especially if you have trees around your home and if you live in a mobile home, things like that. Just something to consider. So this is the timing graphic. And again, understand the Weather Service is opening up the window around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon for the western two-thirds of the state, and that's for any isolated storms that form. Again, the good high-resolution models are just not showing that much this afternoon or this evening. But if any storm can form, they could be severe. But the main show, the main event will be late tonight. Again, probably moving into West Alabama toward 10 or 11 o'clock, then progressing through the state overnight, then exiting the state by 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, again, just a few points here when it comes to preparing for this. The key to staying safe is getting the warnings. And you know what I'm about to say. You know what I'm about to say. This is the baseline of weather radio. Yet most people don't have one. But if you don't, please consider getting one. This does not work on the cell network. Your phones can fail during a tornado emergency very easily. And this is not involved with cell networks, and they're very reliable, and they will wake you up. They don't go into any do not disturb mode. So that's the baseline. And when it comes to your phone, be sure you've got emergency alerts enabled. A lot of people turn them off because they don't like the Amber Alerts. That's that loud tone out. And I don't understand that, because if a child is missing, don't you think we ought to be helping? But just be sure that's enabled. This has nothing to do with an app. That's in the settings on your phone. Every phone sold in the United States has wireless emergency alerts, that emergency alert tone out thing. Have that enabled, and you'll get tornado warnings. You won't miss those. And then know your safe place. And, of course, in a home, that's a small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. You do not have to be underground. And everybody is going to wear a what? Yeah, helmet. A lot of you know that I've volunteered in healthcare for 19 years. I don't talk about it much, but I really got into that to learn about trauma and how people are injured and how they die during tornadoes. I wanted to learn from doctors, ER docs, and I've been doing this 19 years. I've learned a lot, and I will tell you that most people that are hurt badly in tornadoes is blunt force trauma above the shoulders. And by putting on a cheap bicycle helmet, motorcycle helmet, batting helmet, football helmet, that really enhances your chance of being safe. So have those for everybody, not just for kids, but for all the adults as well. And the other big problem we have, of course, is those in mobile homes. You can't stay there. You cannot be in a car. You can't be in a mobile home if you are in a tornado warning polygon. And so if you live in a trailer, know the location of the nearest shelter or business that can serve as a shelter that's open 24/7, how to get there quickly, and have transportation if you need to do that tonight. And one more ask, and again, if you're watching these videos, you're a weather weenie. You can literally be a hero in this. This is a campaign kind of initiated by the Weather Service in Birmingham. We learned this from social scientists. You, quite frankly, have more power than we do when it comes to warning people. If you pay attention, you can text or call your relatives or friends that don't pay attention. And I'm not faulting them. We're all busy. It's busy. People don't have time to sit around and watch the radar all day, and most people don't have a weather radio, and a lot of people just don't pay attention. So if you know of a friend or a loved one that is in a tornado warning polygon, you can call them or text them, and you can literally save a life in the process. And again, one more thing, and I'll go back and kind of rehash everything. This is not unusual. Alabama's tornado season runs from November through May. We say this all the time, but yet every time we have a tornado threat around Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's, people say it's never happened here before. Well, we've had 154 tornadoes in Alabama in the month of December since 1950, and some very violent ones as well. So just be aware that this is not unusual. We will get through the day together just fine. You get the warning, you have a plan, we're going to be fine. This is not that unusual. So for those of you that are just joining us, we have a chance of a fairly meaningful severe weather event for Alabama in the Deep South later today and tonight. We have a level 4 out of 5 moderate risk defined from extreme West Alabama through much of central and south Mississippi into parts of eastern Louisiana. The area is in red on that map. And understand, we've got a level 3 out of 5 over to Jasper, almost to Birmingham, down to about Greenville, Atmore, and the rest of the state, and a level 2 out of 5 risk later today and tonight. Our greatest concern is going to be late tonight when an organized batch of storms will come through. Having said that, though, there could be a few isolated storms this afternoon and this evening that could try and rotate. We'll watch those carefully. I don't think we have a big problem this afternoon or this evening, but still, we have to watch those carefully just in case. But late tonight, this is going to be a late night, early morning, pre-dawn thing. So just be sure you can get those warnings, and that's why having a weather radio is so critical. And I really think in Alabama, certainly there could be a few tornadoes, yes. Now, the greatest chance of these long-track EF3 plus tornadoes most likely will be over Mississippi and Louisiana, maybe West Alabama. Could there be a tornado in Alabama? Absolutely, especially over the western half of the state. But the greater concern late tonight will probably be from damaging straight-line winds that could gust to 70 miles per hour in spots. And that's going to knock down a lot of trees, take out a lot of power. So just be aware of that. And again, the key is just getting the warning. So real quick, do you want to look at the long-range stuff? This is the latest 8 to 14-day guidance. And, of course, if we didn't have the severe weather threat today and tonight, this would be the big buzz, this chance of much colder air coming in later in the month. This is for January 4th through the 10th. And understand, this is coming off the national blend of models. And we're going to turn colder after New Year's Day, but nothing radically cold. You can see this is for Birmingham, the high dropping to 45 on Saturday the 4th and lows below freezing. But there's signals that much colder air could arrive just beyond this period, out there 10 to 15 days. And you know there's no skill at a specific forecast beyond 10 to 15 days. We see no sign of any winter weather mischief for the next 10 days. But beyond that, nobody knows. Could there be some? Sure. Is it going to be cold? Yeah. But we just can't be specific. But the pattern looks cold out there toward mid-January. All right, so that's going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. We'll kind of see how it goes this afternoon. If there's time, and if we're not too busy, I'll try and crank out another video early this afternoon. And remember, if we get into tornado warnings, my primary job, it's the live stream that goes on television, Facebook, YouTube, all across the platforms. And I have to be able to tell a coherent story, and I'm looking at multiple live streams, Weather Service chats, the Skywatcher chat, all the social media feeds, and I can't answer questions. After any tornado warning, I'll come back and look, and there's probably 200 folks wanting an individual briefing, and obviously we can't do that when I'm on the air. So just watch us on the air, watch that live stream, and I promise we'll be able to answer your questions and tell you what you need to know there. And if it's in the Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden market, it will be on ABC 3340 television, which is free over the air. Of course, they stream it on the 3340 Facebook and YouTube page as well. And if it's not in the Birmingham market, like last night when Mobile went under a tornado warning, it's on my pages, which you're watching this now if you're watching it live through either my Facebook page or my YouTube channel. So just, if you can, watch the live stream, and we will answer your questions there. So having said that, I got to run. I got stuff to do. So thank you guys for watching. And again, we'll be in the office throughout the day today, watching things carefully. Have a great day. Stay safe, and God bless.